Hello, it's Jules again, and I'd like to welcome you to this introduction to your sliders and your slide-in notifications. If this is your first time with me, I'd like to personally welcome you to drag out your laptop and follow along with me. On the left, for the slide-in notifications, go to the Pop-ups plugin. You may be inclined to add a new pop-up, but that would be a mistake. Go to All Pop-ups or simply click on the Pop-ups link. I've already set up your newsletter pop-up to show up only once every 7 days after the user's seen it, and only on the beer making and wine making pages. It's a nice slide-in instead of an obnoxious pop-up right in the center of the screen that interrupts the user, which is really bad for the user experience. Those are some of the defaults that you might find if you add a new one, including some other defaults that don't go with your website or brand identity, such as the color and typeface. Instead, just edit the front page one, which has all the settings correct for you, and all you have to do is click the area that you'd like to edit. If you find yourself in the text area, which has some of the code, you can switch over to visual, which you may find a little bit easier. This is going to be the heading, and this is going to be some of the body text, and if you start editing that, you'll find that it keeps consistent with that. You don't really have to worry about these settings and parameters for your colors and other things on this because it's already set, but one setting you might want to change is to make it visible to the public if it's offline, or to make it private, to take it offline for a second. Click OK, and update once you've made all the edits that you want to make. So again, don't add a new pop-up, just edit the one for your front page. Let's head on over to the Revolution slider. Again, don't create a new slider because the slider that will show up on your front page and has all the correct settings for your website and brand identity is labeled Home Above the Fold. This is what you're going to see above the fold right here. Instead of setting the settings, just edit the slides, where you can edit, add, and delete slides on that home page. Let's take a look at Neo Mexicanus. I won't go into all the things that you can do with the Revolution slider, but a few key details that will be common to you for your everyday use. Change the slide title. This will just be for you, and it won't be visible to the public, but it's easy to keep track of them when you have a good title. You can change when it shows up and when it goes away. In case you have, for example, a sale that you're running for a week, you can set it up ahead of time to start and stop at a specific time and date. And then it won't be visible to the public before or after those parameters. The slider is mainly meant to entice the user to go somewhere or to do something. So you'll want a call to action, and at the other end of that call to action, a link. Make sure that link is enabled so that they click on anywhere within the slide, and it goes to wherever you set the link right here. In this case, we have it set up to the shop, so they can, or set up to the contact area rather. So the call to action being contact us, they'll want to click on that slide and it'll take them to the contact page. Don't worry about the rest of these settings, but do worry about this area here. You can add a layer to this slide, which will be a text layer. You can add a layer image. You can even add a layer video. Here we have a couple of text layers already set up, and we could even duplicate that layer if we like the settings. Now on this one, we have some text but no image. I want to talk about the text first. This is important. Only use the heading or heading blue text. Do not use any of the other text options here. Those are defaults. They are not set up for your brand identity, and they're not set up for your website. It will be really poor design and will be inconsistent and poor for the user experience to have any of those other ones. So just select heading, which is mainly meant for longer text to talk a little bit more about the slide, or heading blue for very short but very large and bright text to perhaps give a header or say something like $7.99 shipping. So again, use only heading or heading blue style of text when you're using one of those for the layer. And to keep it consistent, you could even just duplicate that layer with all those settings dragged over. I want to add an image to this because that doesn't quite pop as much as it could, and it doesn't instantaneously tell me what this is. I've already extracted this from the background and loaded it into your media library, but you could always upload the files here. But here, we'll notice that I've uploaded it too large. It's 3 megabytes, which is going to make that page load slowly. It'll influence the SEO because Google takes into account page load times, and it just won't be great for the user experience. So let's edit that image, supposing that you forgot to edit the image before uploading it. It's very easy to do. Just pick a good size, ideally below 1,000 pixels wide and tall, and above, let's say around 300 pixels should be okay for most things. Let's make this 333 pixels. Again, that file size is 3 megabytes. Scale it and update it. Try to keep it below 100 kilobytes. We've got 74 kilobytes on that, so that's a-okay. Once it's been updated, you can click refresh, and it will have the correct settings even if it doesn't show it right away. Make sure when you upload it, it has some good alt text for Google to read, and in case it doesn't show up for the user. Insert that in as a new layer, and there we have it. We have a nice image that tells us what this is all about. Well, this one seems to go over that a little bit, so maybe I'd like to edit that image so that's not too much of a problem. So to edit the text on that, I can click on the one that I want to edit, and right over here I can do all the editing that I like. It only considers one line, so in this case I might actually want to duplicate that and do some editing there. So maybe I want that these plants are available, and maybe I'll delete that. Then I'll duplicate the layer, drag it down a little bit, and we have the same settings consistent to make that nice and easy. And let's say I want to move them around a little bit. Let's say put that right over here, not too close to the heading on the front page, and put that right over there. This image is going to draw my eye right down to this call to action, and we're all set. Scroll down to the bottom, hit Update Slide, and you'll see it on the front. And here it is on the front, coming right up. There it is, and because I offsetted the timing on some of that text, you can see that it shows up at slightly different times on that slide. And you'll even notice that at the first slide, we've got a little animation and delay on the $7.99 shipping, just the same. Keep in mind you've only got a few seconds and maybe only 2 or 3 slides before that user navigates away. So you only have a line or two to catch their attention before they scroll down or navigate to something else. Well, thanks very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day and that this was informative.